Hello everybody, welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and I wanted to share with you the recent energies I've been channeling into the Divine Masculine Collective. I feel this gateway of openness is kind of what I feel. Grace is what I heard, grace. And I kept being shown master number 22. So 22 does break down to 4. 2 is all about decisions, crossroads energy, and 4 is all about foundation. So I feel a lot of behaviors are coming up to be addressed when it comes to how they mishandled this connection with the divine feminine. I think there's a lot of trivial situations taking place surrounding the masculine when it comes to his emotions. I feel a lot of spiritual conditions are coming up when it comes to these repetitive cycles that he's dealt with a lot of different people. And it's this energy of a second class ticket is what I channeled. So I feel acceptance when it comes to the masculine, realizing that he is now in a subordinate position. A lot of emotional awareness when it comes to the masculine enjoying this subordinate position. So it's kind of like the masculine is now the subordinate to the feminine, and I feel he's inevitably encountered this recent humiliation is kind of what I'm feeling. And so it's like this embarrassment when it comes to the masculine claiming a first class seat with a second class ticket. And so there's a lot of emotional energy coming up, creating challenges when it comes to his awareness. And I feel there's been this recent social humiliation for many of the masculines when it comes to, you know, their charm. So it's like a lot of these masculines have been to charm school. They're very good at charming, you know, the divine feminine, charming all of these other people. And I feel they've been masking their true nature, their true beliefs. And I feel it's led the masculine down a path of self-deluding, self-delusion when it comes to himself and others. He's really deluded a lot of people that he's been connected with. And so I feel it's like this restructuring when it comes to this new form that we're creating. So I do feel there's been a lot of substance abuses going on. And I feel it's really, you know, cost the masculine. I feel a lot of expensive, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of expensive, like, tear down of the false foundation. And so it's like the masculine being brought into the cross of grace. And I feel the feminine is looking very enchanting at this time. The feminine is the enchanter, which holds this perfected grace. And I feel the masculine is coming into this moment of actualization of who truly holds substance on his heart. And this is really bringing forward this gateway of openness when it comes to the alignment of the emotional energy that the feminine has mastered. And so this innate openness is what's coming through. There's a lot of sensitivity in the energies. There's a lot of modification when it comes to these negative behaviors in order to enrich new interactions is what's coming through. So a lot of the feminines are mediums. And I feel a lot of the masculines have rejected this mediumship and the elaborate connection that the twins share. And I feel this formal rejection now is highlighting the masculine's over-reliance on his ego mechanics, and he's kind of being forced into aborting that significant karmic relationship, facing all kinds of limitations with his social structure. And there is a need for the masculine to formally come forward and inform the feminine with directness, who he has previously so callously disregarded. And I feel there is a higher power, an inherent higher power kind of working some magic in the divine masculine's life at the moment when it comes to integrating these higher principles and these transgressing behavioral codes when it comes to this awareness. So we're all being asked to behave individualistically. And I feel there's a lot of embarrassing situations being created in the masculine's life, bringing forward all kinds of invariables, resulting in like the demise of his reputation for his crude, prudent energy towards the feminine. So I feel a lot of negative projections coming at the masculine from others that he is connected with in order for him to reach a certain level of spiritual maturity is what came through. So a realignment through all of these negative experiences. And I feel the feminine is really stepping into her natural leadership authority. And that's becoming quite evident and clear for the divine masculine. And so I feel the feminine really is stepping into her fullest capacity in the energies, which is creating this realignment. And so I feel this nonconformist energy coming forward when it comes to expressing this truth to the feminine, this expression of openness. And so I do feel as this gateway kind of opens, it's combining all kinds of potential in the energy for emotional openness. And divine feminine, you're going to be asked to just listen with grace. Do not be charmed, although I do feel the feminine's looking very highly attractive to many people right now in the collective. And it's really creating a lot of moodiness in the masculine's life. And so a lot of dramatic upheaval when it comes to the antisocial side of the masculine and kind of pushing him to emerge from the darkness with this emotional maturity, this emotional awareness. And I feel this comfortableness when it comes to moving into the depths of the waves of emotions coming up for the masculine when it comes to the depth of this connection. And so I do feel the masculine can see clearly now that the divine feminine is his creative muse. And it is redefining him at the soul level when it comes to releasing his truth and knowing that the feminine is finally ready to hear this truth, I feel. So recognizing that the timing is saying it's action time to bring forward that respect, recognition, and honor towards the divine feminine. And I feel the feminine is being asked to be open to receiving this attentiveness from the divine masculine. And I feel it's essential to build these new foundations. So the feminine is being asked to offer the gift of grace. And so to really listen completely to what the masculine is going to say when he comes forward. And I feel this will be a natural action that's going to be felt. And I feel the masculine is owning self-empowerment when it comes to taking responsibility, realizing that it will be a privilege for the divine masculine to openly listen to what he has to say when it comes to making these changes and embracing these changes. So I was shown like a lot of 12th dimensional energies that have opened up the masculine to know what it is that he truly feels, how to express it verbally towards the divine feminine, because this silence really is creating a lot of nervous, anxious energy. Many of us have been in silence for a long time, some of us for several years. And I think what the masculine fears the most is that the feminine will not give him the time to be heard. And so I feel there's recently been this moment of realization through all of these adverse restrictions that the masculine has been facing when it comes to his internal weakness, needing to gather his external strength, and in this pool of emotions when it comes to resolution. So I feel this energy of taking stock at all of the hardships that the masculine has been facing when it comes to him finding his focus to eradicate these negative forces that really have led to a lot of oppression. I feel a lot of negative thoughts need to be eradicated with this realization, because it's created these delusions, and I feel he's seeing the oppression exclusively as external, and it's really a spiritual phenomenon bringing forward all kinds of disastrous results. And I feel the masculine, it feels this sense like everybody's against him. And what's that song that recent come out? Like, everybody's my enemy. I don't know. My daughter really loves that song. I don't even know who sings it. But the masculine feels like everybody's against him. The world is against him. And I feel this is going to trigger that drive to overcome this deep personal oppression in order to achieve security in his life. So a lot of busyness in the mind space. When it comes to this indecisiveness with all of this oppression. And I feel the masculine's really needing to apply some spiritual intelligence if he wants a spiritual intelligence in order to recover and to accept this weight. A lot of the masculines have taken advantage of so many people along the journey, and all of these conditions are going to be temporary when it comes to this oppression. But I feel there needs to be a moment of self-actualization that the masculine has self-oppressed as well. And so when we have a well-integrated consciousness, that's when we know that it's time to take action. And so this unfounded oppression is bringing forward this realization that he's going to be okay. We all kind of go through this self-oppression stage in order to tap into our highly energy cosmic forces. And so I feel a lot of irreversible destruction in the masculine's life right now, extremely difficult energies when it comes to the masculine realizing his self-worth. And I feel a lot of these external constraints are giving the masculine the strength to find his true identity, no matter how powerful this restrictive, oppressing energy is. He's being asked to maintain integrity when it comes to any survival fears. So really tapping into his true soul sense of identity, I feel, and the masculine is feeling like he's been robbed, is what I'm feeling. Robbed of his light is another energy, lost in the darkness, barely able to nourish himself, let alone anybody else. And I feel identifying these overwhelming external conditionings as stepping into sainthood is what came through. So overcoming this mental trip, I feel he's on a mental trip, which is really bringing him into this deep, dark depression. And I feel a lot of hypocrisy coming up when it comes to the lack of harmony within his life. And I feel the feminine is what he needs to bring forward this spiritual aid. So it's this realization of what he needs to do to be exalted from this karma that's been playing out, and the acceptance of finally getting this weight off of his shoulder. And it's this energy of 0 point where there's no polarity, no negative, no positive, zeroing out the karma. So there is no more polarity between the counterparts. And so the energy is very futile. And I feel a lot of deep anxiety, a lot of difficulties when it comes to the fact that the masculine feels there is no exaltation in his life. There is no escaping what is playing out. And so I think the masculine is needing to stand alone, to find a way to adapt and survive, just like the feminine had to do. And I feel he's losing hope when it comes to overcoming what's been stripped of him recently. I think a lot has been stripped when it comes to that trauma bond. And I feel with this over mental activity, it is going to bring forward a lot of clarity. And I feel all of this disorganization in the masculine's life is due to this remembrance. It's like being shown these past life movie clips and all of the past lives that he's passed through. And it's like attempting to reassemble them all to find a meaningful piece of his current human existence. And so I don't think the masculine will see the full picture until he comes forward and takes that first step towards the feminine, which will eventually bring forward the full realization of the connection. And so I do feel new details have recently emerged in order to facilitate this new perception. I think there's recently been a shakeup or an event when it comes to mixing up these energies, redirecting the masculine towards the feminine, towards different interpretations of the journey. And I feel the masculine knows the process will become easier and less complicated when he can take a step back and trust that this is exactly what is needed in order to break these karmic cycles. And it's been like this recent aha moment, and whatever's been hidden below the surface, whatever secrets he's avoided coming to the surface, I feel they've come to the surface in order for almost like a conclusion. So a lot of possibilities. I feel the masculine's getting ready to stand up, to stand out, and to speak up. I think he's getting ready to come forward and correct the damage done, and to share his recognition with the divine feminine. And I feel the pressure's being put on because he cannot forget this connection. He cannot keep waiting because everything is going to keep coming to a halt until resolution is kind of reached between the counterparts. So let's pull in with some cards and see what else needs to come through for the current divine masculine energy reading. So a recent activation of the twin soul telepathy. So I do feel a lot of the masculines are hearing you, your thoughts, feeling your emotions, and coming into this deep awareness and acceptance that, yes, he's incarnated with his counterpart, his twin soul, understanding the complexities of the connection, and a lot of struggle when it comes to stripping away these outdated karmic patterns and beliefs, and a lot of high vibration love being activated in the masculine's life when it comes to this twin soul connection. So divine feminine, all you kind of got to need to do is surrender and trust. The divine has a plan at work here. And so I know many of the feminines get so bogged down, and we got to learn patience. Patience is a virtue. And I feel if something's not exactly unfolding to our expectations, divine feminine, we need to understand the divine is working on the masculine when it comes to this twin soul connection, and they are orchestrating a much more meaningful plan with long-term results. And so this is where, too, the feminine kind of has to go in to the meditative telepathic state to have that connection. So let's see what else needs to come through for the divine masculine for this current energy shift. Disconnecting, recovery. Yeah, the masculine has recently experienced massive upheaval, and I feel in a period of rest, going through a period of healing when it comes to this Holy Trinity union, the heart, the mind, the body, and the soul, and preparing to journey towards the feminine, which is his ultimate fulfillment. And so I feel releasing all of those negative influences that really got him off track, preparing to take charge of his destiny, but he's facing his fears. One of the biggest fears I feel is rejection. And I feel there's been a lot of influences around the masculine telling him he couldn't come back. He's not worthy of the divine feminine's love. And so working through a lot of fear, especially when it comes to this recent upheaval. And so definitely going through some healing and some rejuvenation. And he's definitely been open to receiving the telepathic connection for sure. Whether it's the divine feminine communicating telepathically, or his guides in the universe communicating through the number syncs. I feel like the divine feminine is thrown in the masculine's face. No matter where he goes, the divine feminine's in his face. And he's coming to this deep awareness that this connection holds a deep meaning in his life. And so I also feel the feminine needs to be open to receiving the clarity that's coming forward, and to release any expectations because he's journeying towards you to clear that throat chakra block. He's getting ready to remove any blocks within his throat chakra, preparing to come forward and openly and honestly express himself to the feminine, stepping in to that leadership role, that teaching role. And I feel the masculine's learning a valuable lesson in that karmic contract to kind of help him evolve. A very painful lesson, but a gift nonetheless. So I do feel we are manifesting these unions very rapidly, and the masculine is definitely being put to the test with all kinds of triggers in order to address these negative patterns once and for all with himself and with every relationship that he's ever encountered. And so this behavior is being brought up to be course corrected now. And so divine feminine, what you need to do is just spend some time in quiet introspection. Relax, just be, and trust that, yes, this is your soulmate. There's fear. There is fear when it comes to emotional vulnerability. We got to remember, a lot of these masculines are taught that true strength is to not show emotions. And I do feel the masculines moving, packing up and moving, and really addressing these unhealthy patterns with his pride and his ego, and, you know, going into the fear. We kind of got to feel the fear and do it anyway. So shedding the pride and the ego, I feel really paying attention to the details and figuring out how the heck to bring that apology forward. How the heck do I bring that apology forward? Because he does want to come and see you. It's this energy of getting ready to take that leap of faith. So I think get ready for the masculine to just kind of show up at your door. To just kind of show up. There's that fear of rejection. So I do feel he's recently walked away for sure, rejected the karmic contract, likely around the last holiday. So in Canada, it was a couple weekends ago. I think in the States, the holiday was last weekend. There's been a recent ending, which has created this emotional vulnerability. I feel rejection of the entire social clan for that fresh start. He wants to come in for that fresh start, and there is an apology coming, is kind of what I'm feeling. But the masculine might have to completely move before then, and there's fear. There's a lot of fear coming up. But I do feel the masculine's been making plans to come and see you, because these emotions, they can no longer be repressed. So let's see what else needs to come through with the Quantum Oracle deck. Increase. So, you know, being taken to the cross of grace, the sacred temple. He's definitely dealing with some spiritual energies at this time when it comes to increasing his finances after a huge loss. A huge loss of some family and some friends is kind of what I'm feeling. And he's afraid. I think he's afraid to really let them go. He's afraid that maybe you won't receive his gratitude as well, is another message. So what else can you tell me about the masculine loss? There's been a recent event or shakeup and upheaval that's really led to a big loss. A huge loss for the masculine. And that was because he was not coming from a place of integrity and honesty and resistance to closing out that cycle. And all due to the friends and the colleagues. So there's been upheaval when it comes to a redirection. Those friends and colleagues, they're all out of the masculine's life. There's been a huge loss of people, places, and things. Because he's not been honoring this connection, and definitely packing up and preparing to travel towards you, because you are his peace. I don't think the masculine's had any ounce of peace in his life since you've kind of left his life. So definitely a higher power at work when it comes to a regeneration, a revival. It is that rebirth by fire, and the masculine being reborn out of the ashes, like the phoenix, and moving away from all of that toxicity, opening up to his spiritual channels, closing out a cycle, and coming in to build that solid foundation. Building blocks. Is there anything else we need to be aware of for the divine masculine? Thank you. Beautiful. Mending these negative cycles once and for all. So I feel going into learning the cyclical patterns, you know, breaking down everything false, anything built on faulty ground, anything that was not built out of the heart center. So I feel a lot of material wealth has been recently stripped from the masculine. All that glitters is not gold. And he got tempted by materialism, greed, and lust, and went towards a karmic cycle that has completely dismantled. And it's kind of time to mend these divine counterpart unions, these spiritual unions, and to really understand the karmic lesson in its entirety to build that solid foundation. So I think divine feminine, you know, there's a deep knowing that this is unfinished. There's some unfinished business here, and the masculine is definitely facing that abandonment wound. I think he's recently been abandoned, or he's abandoned the karmic, and there's going to be a lot of truth coming forward. Truth be told. So let's see what else needs to come through with the tarot. Walking away. He's ready to embrace the spiritual path. He's done playing into that illusion. Could have been dealing with a Pisces, or your masculine could have been dealing with the Pisces. But with that Saturn energy, it's all about a reevaluation of commitment, foundations, and I think he was never really committed to that karmic contract anyway. There was a lot of partying, there was a lot of drinking, there was a lot of gossip, there was a lot of drama. It was rooted in a negative mindset, a negative cycle, and it's the walking away. Making peace with the past, clearing all of that repressed emotional baggage, and I feel a lot of higher ascension energies and healing, wish fulfillment, Aquarian energy. So really beautiful energies coming through. Where's the masculine at? There he is, deeply wounded, abandoned, orphaned, feeling left out in the cold like he did to the feminine. And there is a need to communicate this. And I feel with Mercury and Taurus right now, there is going to be some communication about this wound when it comes to the third party. The lack of commitment, the fear of commitment, the masquerade he was playing into, and coming in for that deep spiritual soul connection with the feminine, where his true authentic heart lies. Gemini energy, and yeah, coming in with a lot of communication. He's working on getting his emotions in check. He's working on getting back control of his life. And getting in that car, getting in that driver's seat, getting on that plane, and coming in with a lot of passionate communication, because Spirit is saying, hey, it's time to communicate. And if you look at all of the doves, I also feel a lot of communication from his higher self. A lot of communication, Sag, Cancer energy. And so what's hidden below the surface is, you know, this deep awareness of self-delusion, self-deception, where he has self-sabotaged. And a lot of awareness, working on restoring his vitality and preparing to come in with a solid offer, communication. I want a clean slate. And I think he's in this energy of wanting to win back the feminine at any cost. Yes, coming in with an exciting new offer, likely by that full moon. Still going through a period of disillusionment, I feel, sifting through the baggage, sifting through the movie reels of the past life timelines, and really understanding the thieving. I feel he was likely swindled by the karmic financially. There's been some thieving, there's been some backstabbing, there's lying, there's cheating, whether the karmic cheated on the masculine in order to balance the scales for what was done to the feminine. But I feel the masculine right now is healing his inner wounded feminine energy as he breaks free from this illusion. And that's that fear, facing that fear when it comes to working together with the feminine. So what's the potential overall outcome when it comes to the energies? Oh, geez. True pair. Visionary leaders. But if you notice, the feminine's kind of not looking back. And the masculine is finding his drive and his determination to come forward to send that message. So, yeah, there's recently been an upheaval of some sort when it comes to the chaos and the conflict. I think definitely some harsh communication, which has activated a heart expansion. And there's definitely something that's recently crumbled to the ground as part of this life force activation. So a lot of Kundalini life force activations in order to blend these unions together. So a lot of alchemical transitions. You might be feeling that divine feminine in your cellular body as the masculine goes through a period of healing, death, transformation, rebirth. So that's kind of where the masculine is at. Oh, yeah. Facing that karmic judgment. So it is an awakening of some sort, a higher heart awakening, and a period of soul retrieval. And I do feel the feminine is protected from absorbing what the masculine is going through, because he's deep in some, you know, guilt, grieving, loss, regret for not seeing things clearly, trying to find his strength to come in with that truth. And he's hurting. He feels the loss, the separation. There's no balance in his life, and all he can think about is taking those guided steps towards bringing healing into this connection, wishing that it's not too late is kind of what I'm feeling. So let's get a couple last stone deck messages into the masculine. What else can you tell me about the current divine masculine energies, please? Oh, and I did want to pull some romance angel cards. So, and I don't use that very often. So a lot of ancient Greek timelines, I feel, are coming up that contain a lot of very expansive energies. But I feel the masculine's in this isolated state, experiencing these peaks and lows. He's definitely on an intergalactic field trip at the moment, is kind of what I'm feeling. And he's about ready to blow his lid off. And there was that opposition between the moon and Mars today. So I think he's about to blow his lid off. It's kind of time for the masculine to step outside of himself, to step outside of his ego, and to get out of his own way. Aphrodite is what I was hearing. So I feel this electrifying pull towards the feminine, towards his purpose, getting ready to take flight to unlock his highest potential. And I do feel he's being beamed up when it comes to these higher ascension energies, places of transcendence, teleporting through some different timelines is what I'm feeling. And the ray of light at the end of the tunnel is hitting him very hard, because the only good in his life right now, I think, is the memory of the divine feminine. And so clearing away any skepticism or cynicism about the spiritual path that we share. And I do feel he's feeling like a moving target as he is pushed into his true purpose. So he's definitely feeling very dishonoring in the energies and struggling to find that balance. A lot of fire being ignited, a lot of energy being reactivated when it comes to these deep feelings that he's been so disconnected from. And I do feel like he just wants to come in and hold the feminine. He wants to hold the feminine, and he's ready to get real with that truth. So he's definitely getting really honest with himself right now. And that kind of has to go through a level of purification before he can take advantage of this very conducive electric energy, trying to bring this new form into existence. And so I feel meditating, and all you need to do right now is say yes, divine feminine, because he's ready to reclaim you. He's ready to reclaim you is what I'm feeling. So, yeah, he's finally ready to stop chasing every glittery thing, and he's finally ready to start chasing enlightenment with you, divine feminine. So we'll see what else needs to come through with the romance angels engagement. Beautiful. Our love life is ascending to these higher levels of commitment. And so he's definitely releasing any negative influences when it comes to his spiritual path, whether it was from his upbringing or the karmic contracts he was in. And he's going through a period of retreat and disconnection, healing a lot of these ancestral wounds. And I feel learning to forgive his parents, knowing that, hey, this is the one for me. I know who my romantic twin soul is, and it's a matter of acceptance is what I'm feeling. So what else do we need to be aware of? A brand new cycle is coming forward for the twins. I feel these romantic feelings have been recently stirred up, but the masculine kind of needs to love himself. I think he's lost a lot of self-respect. He's not feeling very attractive in the energies, but he is being magnetically drawn to you, divine feminine, because a lot of the feminines have, you know, enjoyed living fully in the present moment, which is creating this energy shift to light up the truth. And I feel in the past he did not have an open mind or an open heart, and he's definitely shifting that perception, breaking free from these very addicting, codependent relationship cycles, breaking free from the toxicity. And there is a deep, strong magnetic attraction, a strong pull towards the feminine in the energies. And I do think he wants to get to know you again. Because let's face it, I'm not the same person I was 4 years ago when I first met him. I'm not the same person I was at all. And so it's like having that conversation, revealing our innermost selves to one another and deepening this spiritual bond. And it is about healing these family issues. So I think get ready for a reunion, a reconciliation. The divine masculine is returning from the past. The ghost of the past is coming back. Boo. And he's releasing that ex. He's releasing and clearing his energy of that karmic contract, because those romantic feelings have recently been reignited, and he's being told it's time to explore this newfound energy. And he knows that you are the one, and he's well aware that this is true love. And he's coming to terms with the fact that the karmic was very deceptive, wearing a false mask. You know, that whole social circle that tried to support him, they misguided him in all the wrong directions. And I feel he wants to call you back into his life. So I do feel get ready to receive a message from your counterpart, likely very soon. And that's what I got for the energy check-in, guys. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to book a twin soul reading with me, I encourage you to check out that description box below. And I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.